So we're back for another amazing conversation with another beautiful Black woman at the espnW Summit Canada. Hello, Miss Candice Maxis.
Hi, Marsha.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm happy you're here.
I am glad I made it.
Yes, you made it, and you're going to be on stage later.
Yes, I will be.
I'm so excited for that.
I am excited as well. Like, it's my first. I know there's been a couple of editions.
Yeah, this is the second one, so you're not missing much. You're good.
Okay, cool.
You're coming right in time.
But yeah, looking forward for the experience.
It'll be so
excited.
good, and I'm looking forward to see you rock that stage today and let them know exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? So you are the Chief People Officer for the Canadian Olympic Committee.
Yes.
I've been working in sport for a hot minute, and there are not very many Black women at that senior level.
Yeah.
Can you share with us like the experience that you've had? You were at Deloitte before, so you're new to sport. So can you share about, coming into sport at that level? What does that look like for you? What's that experience been like?
It's different, but it's somewhat a little bit of the same, and I'll explain. Certainly different because it's a completely different industry that I've been before. Although I've always gravitated around sports. Yep. I'm a sports enthusiast. I'm all about basketball.
You're a big basketball girl. Okay.
Yes. But certainly in working in that field is very new to me. So that's the different part. The part that is the same, and I know you'll relate to this, is being in a new environment and always being the only one or the rare one.
Yeah.
So that unfortunately has been a bit of a repeat in my career.
And you weren't probably expecting that in sport, right? You're probably thinking, oh, sport might be a little different, but it wasn't.
I think I put the bar
kind of low.
Low to not
no disappointment.
Exactly, to not be disappointed. At the executive level, I feel like it's not really different than what we see in corporate.
Correct.
That being said, at the staff level, I was a bit surprised of
the lack of representation at that level.
Yes. I was thinking like sports bring people together. Sports,
supposed to surpass boundaries, but
it's community building. Like I would have expected to see a bit more, and it seems like there's still work to do for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and we're all familiar with the work that's to be done, and we're all navigating different ways in which to kind of close that gap for many women of color and other BIPOC representatives in the sport world. But being a Black woman at the C-suite, what kind of pressure do you feel? Do people ever like message you on LinkedIn, or do people come up and say things to you? Like, how does that pressure feel, and how do you receive it?
I would say there are moments, if I'm very open with you, there are moments where it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because to your point, when there's not many of us, people look to you, right?
Yeah.
So it probably brings an additional level of pressure. Whether it's the young professionals or emerging leaders that want to grab coffee to get career advice, or whether it's just simply you having to show up at your best because you're going to get into an environment and you're going to be the only one, and it's probably the only sample of people who look like you that they'll have in the room. So I think that has been a bit of a trend through my career. And it hasn't been different in sports, unfortunately.
And talk about that pressure in the sense where do you feel like if something goes wrong, then that kind of could derail something else for other people coming in the space? Like if I didn't do my best and if I wasn't received in a good way, would that then put somebody else back from being able to move forward in the industry?
Of course, I would say that in the past, I felt that way.
Yeah.
I had to diffuse that level of pressure because, otherwise you just feel stressed all the time. You feel anxious all the time. So I had to diffuse a lot of that. I've been privileged to not be the first in this role. So my predecessor, Sandra Levy, who's a former Olympian, she is a black woman.
Yeah.
So I think that also helped not feeling that pressure as I got into the role, because I was like, okay, so they already had the chance to work with someone who looked like me.
Right.
It won't feel too new. There's not going to be too much adjustments and so on. So that was certainly one of the first
things,
for me.
So that makes it feel a little bit easier navigating that space because someone was here before me. Yeah.
But I still always have this eager to show up and represent.
Yeah, and be authentic to you.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that part is very important to me because I would say, when I joined and people was like, there's not a lot of you in the sports industry, so we're gonna need your help, in changing things and so on. And I'm certainly aiming to be a catalyst for change, but I also had to balance a little bit of that because, the sports system is so huge. It's decentralized.
It is.
It can't be a one-person show. I can't be, the driver for all change in the sports system. Everybody has a role to play. Of course, I will do my part.
Yes.
But I had to recalibrate because sometimes people came with huge expectations
of course,
from the
putting
beginning.
It on your shoulders.
Exactly. Hey, in your past job, you were managing director of DEI, so you're gonna change everything. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Let me try and understand what this is first before we're running in here changing stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So again, absolutely willing to be part of the change and helping to shape the world in the way that I would want to see it. But it's gonna take everybody.
Going to take everybody.
Yeah.
And there are two things I wanted to kind of circle back on. First of all, you said you have to always show up good. First of all, you show up today looking real nice. Crispy girl. Nice. I'm like, when you see her on the stage later, she's going to be looking ready to go. Fetch. I love it. You're looking good.
Thank you.
And being able to sit on the stage later today next to the IOC, is that something that little Candice was like, would we ever imagine ourselves on an espnW stage in Toronto, sitting next to the IOC representative and speaking on topics as it relates to sports and moving forward in sport? Like, how does that feel for you in that moment?
So the short answer is no. I don't think I ever imagined that.
Yeah.
So certainly it's a little surreal right now for me and also for anybody I shared the opportunity with. Where I was like, hey, I'm going to this event and I don't think I realized how huge of a deal it would be for, let's say, people who looked like me when I started to share. So you're gonna be working on this event, like you're gonna go on a speaking engagement at espnW, like that's huge, and you're gonna be on stage with someone from the International Olympic Committee.
That's a big deal, Candice.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But if you knew me on a personal level, my friends or family would tell you that I tend to always underplay stuff. I think it's my humble side that always wants to, and not because I don't believe it's a big deal. It's because I'm also trying to
manage the expectations on your side.
Manage expectation, stay calm through this, and make sure that I show up and deliver. So there's a little bit of that too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fantastic. So we mentioned before you were working on the Deloitte side, on the consulting side, and coming over. Any major differences that you found in how you can navigate in your role? Do you have less autonomy, more autonomy? Do you require more decision making? How do you feel like when it comes to like the idea you have for how you see your role navigating change in the organization? Do you feel like, how does it differ in the two orgs?
It's certainly very different. I think one of the biggest difference, which has been a game changer for me, is that for the first time, I'm actually working for a purpose-led organization.
Okay, not profit-led.
Exactly. So, I don't know that in the past, with my expertise, I was compelled about the mission of the organization, where for the Canadian Olympic Committee, it's working for the Canadian Olympic Committee is very different, right? You are part of something bigger than you that touch every single Canadian. And that is also for the greater good. Sports is about bringing people together, nation building, and so on. So that has been very different in the way I approach work. Like, it's easier to wake up in the morning and go to work because I know I'm contributing to something
good,
something greater than me. So that has been certainly a huge difference that I actually really appreciate.
Perfect.
So that would be one thing. The second thing you ask about decision making and so on, I certainly feel very empowered. I have the privilege of working as part of an executive leadership team that's very collaborative, very open-minded.
Yeah.
The person I work for or with is very important. So in the decision I've made, working with David Shoemaker was also something very important.
Yeah.
In the decision of joining or not joining, his leadership style was one I was like, I think we can do great things together.
Of course.
Certainly that was one thing. And then I think the last thing I would say would be, I do feel there's a bit more room for creativity.
Okay, perfect.
Or a little bit of entrepreneurship. Like, it's just because you're in a smaller organization.
More lean, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah,
where when you work for big companies, sometimes, there's so many layers of approvals
yeah.
and processes, and sometimes makes that decision making can be a bit more slower. Where here, it's like, we just sit together around a table and it's like, hey, are we doing this or no? Yes, no, why? And then we just move.
Yeah.
So that has been very different.
Okay. Can you take me back to the first time you traveled for the COC and you saw at a games environment? Like, I think you went to Chile.
Yes.
For the games. How did that feel, like going in as a C-suite executive for this nation that you live in, and now seeing how the athletes are able to perform on an international level? How was that feeling for you?
Listen, this was a mix of emotions. First, you remember I was new. I was like maybe 3-4 months in, so I was trying to absorb as much as I could to learn so that I could be ready for Paris.
Yeah.
So that was one. A lot of appreciation for our staff.
Yeah.
This is not an
easy task.
job. It's long days. It's you're spending a lot of time on the field. It's the intensity is go. And I was promised, like, this is only a sample. Like, Pan American Games is only a sample of what we actually do during Olympics, right? But seeing our staff in action just gave me much more appreciation to what they do. And then a huge sense of pride, like seeing how our athletes, are working so hard, to either compete for something which will lead to a qualification, or just, because they want to show up
career,
their best.
It's their future, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So that sense of pride was, I don't think I've ever experienced this before. Like, I'm born and raised in Canada, but I grew up in a household originated from Haiti, so we grew up with the Haitian culture. But I don't think I felt as close as being proud to be a Canadian as when I went to Chile, Santiago, and seeing our athlete perform and feeling that I'm part of something as well. So that was very special to me.
Awesome. That Olympic movement, that's probably your Olympic moment.
Yes.
In that sense. Like, you feel the gravity of what this actually is and what you're a part of, right?
100%.
Amazing. I'm happy you got that, because not many people get to sit in that moment and actually understand, we're a part of something greater. We're a part of something that kind of pours into the world in a different way, and being able to understand that perspective is just, I'm happy you got that experience.
Yeah, and I would say that it probably led me to be even more eager to make sure that other people who look like me get to experience that. So having that moment made me say, wow, this is fantastic. I want other people to experience that, right? So I'm really looking forward to see how I can contribute. Of course, I'm not even 1 year in a role. I'm heading to Paris very soon.
Are you excited about Paris experience?
I am excited, nervous.
You don't know what to expect, but it'll be good. It'll be good. We have some croissants. We have a good old time.
That's exactly
what I mean?
I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I have a little sample because I went to Pan Am's, but I am just looking forward to just absorb the experience and also do my part. So
And what I want you to do too is, when you go to Paris, is kind of understand, from a representation perspective, especially from a leadership representation perspective, how other countries kind of navigate senior leadership and diversity. I know that the USOPC will be there and present, and when you see their leadership and kind of how they navigate the Olympic movement and the initiatives that they brought forward in diversity, in ensuring the representation by even changing their name to USOPC and including the para in that. There's so many things that we could do differently on the Canadian side that could take us even further.
100%. So I had the pleasure to meet
NITRA.
Yes.
Yep.
So, which is the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion
Yes.
and Talent at the USOPC.
OPC.
It was probably one of the first things I was trying to do as I joined the organization. I was like, let me try to network with either other Olympic committees or just other executives in the sports industry.
Correct.
And I think this is where I started to have my reality check that, oh my God, like there's not
very many. Yeah.
But I found Nitra, so we had a great chat. We still connected.
Perfect.
I'm very appreciative of her. And to your point, like, I had the chance to meet her in person for the first time at Pan Am's.
Oh, cool. You met her in Pan Am's. Okay, great.
So I met her in Pan Am's, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do the same for Paris. But to your point, like, it's really about, seeing how we can collaborate, working together. Yes, of course, on the field we compete against each other.
But on the business side, we can do things differently.
But at the same time, there's nothing that prevents us to help each other, learn from each other so that we can grow collectively. So that's what I've been trying to do.
Amazing. And I'm happy you got that opportunity too. As we wrap it up, I just want to ask you one more question. Like, why is it important to be Black in sport business?
You know what? I just feel like saying to people that we deserve to be here. I want to start with that because, although there's moments where we feel, again, I'm the only in the room or so on. If you look at what Canada looks like, for example, more than 1% out of 4 is identifying as a racialized person or a person of color. It's not represented today in what we see in corporate and in sports.
Correct.
We have to change that. It's important to see more of me, in the sports industry, more athletes, more coaches, more support staff, because at the end of the day, we are representing the communities that we serve.
Correct.
And we are serving a country that is very multicultural. So I think for me, that's a no-brainer. We should be
here.
We should be here, and we deserve to be here. We're as talented. There's no reason. So as I said, as I'm continuing my journey, I'm hoping to contribute to shaping that change in the capacity that I have. So looking forward to that.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Continue to do amazing things in your role. We're all rooting for you. You know that. And good luck today. Continue to keep, but you're looking nice though. Even the suit alone is a win.
I appreciate it. It was to start to get into
mode.
The mindset. Exactly.
Success.
Thank you.
Success. Thank you, Candice. And
thank you, Marsha.
I'll see you later.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Anytime.